Black Panther Wakanda Forever. This film shows black women warriors, a black teenage Iron Woman, a female Black Panther, and critiques colonialism. All good, right? But what if I told you that the message of this film is actually the opposite of what it conveys? In fact, I would go so far to say that this film, instead of critiquing colonialism, is in fact a justification for it. But how? To answer this question in the video, I am going to analyze the politics of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. To justify imperialism, the invading country has to demonize those who they are invading. Even if they don't demonize, the country that is being invaded must be shown as exotic or just simply different. So when British colonized India or other African nations, stereotypical depictions of Indian and African men and women were depicted in the British newspapers. One could argue that similar things happened when America invaded Iraq and Afghanistan. In Wakanda Forever, Talukans too are shown in a similar way. They are shown as blue, exotic beings, and by making them so different from the humans, they are also devoid of their humanity. The leader of Talukans, Namor, is shown as vengeful towards the colonialists because his people were killed and were made slaves. With the help of vibranium, they gained the ability to not only breathe underwater but were also able to establish a civilization under the sea. Hundreds years later, when a US ship finds vibranium under the sea, they are pushed back by Talukans. Further, Talukans asked for Wakanda's help in their fight against colonizers, but Wakanda refused. To Wakanda, the fight against colonizers is not resistance but an attack on humanity itself. Yeah, right. Because fighting for your freedom and your rights is just so inhuman. The revolution of the Talukans to free the world of American capitalism is shown as outright evil one and is put in place by one of the US vassal states, which is Wakanda. Even though the antagonist in the film, Namor, is shown as a kind of a person whose anger against colonialists was even though justified, his method of resisting against them was shown as outright evil. It is similar to how during British colonialism, every attempt to fight against the colonizers was seen as a potential terrorist attack. Even today, those who fought against the colonizers are called terrorists. But then, why does US in the film not attack Wakanda for the vibranium? Since both nations, Wakanda and Talukan, has rich reserves of it. Because Wakanda uses vibranium for building tech and infrastructure, Talukans mainly use vibranium to enhance their biological abilities. And while Talukan doesn't want to share its vibranium with the world, Wakanda trades it for money. So basically, at this point, Wakanda is just like another capitalist country, which makes Wakanda look less like an African nation and more like a vassal state of the United States of America. What is a vassal state? It is an extension of the empire or a larger country. Wakanda is a country which, even though ruled by blacks, strictly follows the capitalistic American ideology. It also shows the same kind of wokeness that we see in America, a tokenistic representation of women in power positions. It is like they have taken a crash course on Americanism. Wakanda focuses on the development of technology and has advanced infrastructure, and it has reached there without having to industrialize, unlike the rest of the world where industrialization happened with the destruction of nature, which caused unbreathable air, undrinkable water. But Wakanda developed without having to go through this process. It is like eating the food without having to cook it. And thus, Wakanda is a place where science and technology coexist with ancient rituals and culture. So in a very absurd way, Wakanda has crazy UFO-like aircraft as well as rituals that can take one to an unknown dimension. The way Wakanda is built shows the typical capitalistic ideological fantasy that one can have limitless capitalistic development as well as one can protect nature only if one finds the right kind of resource, and that resource is the magical element called vibranium. The film shows that vibranium is one such advanced element which can generate enormous amount of power but doesn't generate pollution like other elements. Vibranium in the Marvel universe is shown as an important element to bring progress in science and technology. In fact, in the entire Marvel universe, there are supposedly many elements that give power to humans as well as machines. In Avengers, there is an Infinity Stone which makes one like God. Thor's hammer was made from special kind of element. The spear of Loki was made from the Mind Stone, another element. The Captain's America shield was also built from vibranium. In all these films, heroes time traveled, fought alien civilization for these very elements. So these elements hold a significant importance in Marvel Cinematic Universe. They are shown to give significant power to those who wield them. The fascination for elements, stones, reflect the American desire for resources, for capitalist production. All the Marvel heroes and villains are looking for these elements. It is in fact considered a heroic thing to look for such resources. The reason being that it is inherent to capitalistic and colonialist fantasies that only if one finds the right element, one can solve the problem of the climate crisis while having unbridled capitalistic expansion. The rush for the search of the desired element in the Marvel films is evident in the real world, where Uncle Sam is constantly invading countries for resources, mainly for oil, and this film justifies American search for resources as an attempt for the greater good of the humanity. As shown in the film, using these resources, kids from the minority communities can develop great things even in their bedroom. Sounds absurd, but possible in Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is the justification given for plundering the resource of a country by invading them. The film's allusion to the real world is unmissable, in which American invasion of Gulf countries was justified as a way of bringing democracy to these regions of the world which were basically attacked for their resources. The film in a way creates consent for American foreign policy that if a country has a resource, it is Uncle Sam's divine right to acquire it, of course for the purpose of science and development. Therefore, Wakanda Forever is not an anti-colonial film but rather a justification for imperialism and creating consent for American interventionist policies in foreign countries. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the real scriptwriter of the Wakanda Forever is in fact CIA. Anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for watching guys. Bye bye.